Yo, what is poppin', low gangsters, or I guess the Bagel Bros now? I keep forgetting that that's what I'm calling my fan base, I guess. But anyway, today we're back at the Rant Rapids because, yeah, I'm recording a bunch of these all in a row at 10:13 p.m. in my garage. This one comes from Neon Manta, who says, "It's my birthday month, so I say rant about Bo Burnham's What special." So, Bo Burnham's What is actually the only special I've seen from Bo Burnham, and now that I've come to think of it, I should get my notes open, because I took a few of them. Half of them were just me quoting the special, because it's really funny. Yeah, so in case that didn't spoil it for you, I like Bo Burnham's What special. It's really good. Like, really good. It is super funny, and granted, I don't listen to comedy, so I don't really have something else to measure it against, but it's an hour-long special, and I was entertained all the way through. And I was actually surprised at just how slapdash and almost incoherent the first, I'd say, 20 minutes of the special are. We get the opening song, which is really Bo Burnham just showing off the fact that he has this announcer voice thing that's pre-recorded and, with all the lights. You can really tell in this special that Bo Burnham is trying to make it big and flashy and, flamboyant, as he does with the glitter thing he does. And he does a lot of tricks in that first part of the special where he takes off his pants, but it's actually fake and they just fall to the stage floor. Then, he takes a sip from an imaginary glass of water. Then, as the song says, "Oh shit, that water's real," he spits out actual water. It's fucking great. And it really gives you this sense where even though the song is kind of nonsense, it's still really fun just for the interaction between the announcer voice and real Bo miming a bunch of things. There's the moment where he makes the prolonged eye contact, and it just says that over and over again. Then he makes like he's gonna stop the prolonged eye contact, and then it just goes right back to prolonged eye contact. There's a lot of gags here that are really fun. And I'm looking through my notes to remember some of these gags. Disregard the background noise. I'm stepping on a bunch of cardboard boxes because the garage is a mess right now, and I have my computer hooked up to an outlet on top of the deep freeze that I have to... So I have to step on all these boxes to get a closer look. But yeah. There's this, right after that, there's the gag where he knocks over the water, then there's the song over the announcer thing that's like, he meant to knock down the water, or whatever it was. And then he accidentally plays the song again, only for it to play again saying he meant to play the song again. Then, at the end of each song it says, "Art's a lie." Thought that was great. Yeah, so... there's a lot of gags in this that I really like. I guess I'll just start with some of the disparate gags that I enjoy from the special. Like Andy the Frog, which I have seen the animation for it so many times at this point that I've committed, half of it to memory. It starts off with, "It's time for a story, it's time for a story," and it goes, through this very merry-sounding song before saying, "It's time for a story now, don't be a Jew." And then everyone in the audience is like, "Wait, what the fuck?" He's like, no, I'm kidding, you can be a Jew." And yeah, I could probably quote the entire thing, but there's, "I woke up this morning and I sat on the, wait, no, it was something about sitting on a log, looking at the menu. The menu said frog, and then Andy gets eaten, and that's the end of him. I forget the exact line. God damn it! I just said I had it committed to memory, and then I didn't commit it to memory. I'm shooting myself in the brain. Anyway, everyone, the most memorable gag from that, aside from Andy dying, is, and then there's Randy. Wait, no, was it Randy? Yeah, it was Randy. I'm pretty sure. Who got arrested for looking at tadpole porn. And then, they see the beautiful frog. "She's gorgeous," said Billy. Yeah, Billy was the first one. She's beautiful, said Millie. I might have got those two mixed up. But then, Randy says, bit old for my taste, said Randy. Classic Randy. Amazing gags, once again. Just every joke in this special. I don't think there was a single, like, a legitimately unfunny joke in this. Like, genuinely. There are so many great gags. Another one I love, and this one is so simple, but it's the fact that Bo sells it so well that is what makes it work. Because on the surface, it's not even really a joke, it's just him miming masturbation. I know, very, very highbrow humor we're getting from this comedy special. But it's the fact... It's the fact that the music in the background is like, it starts off energetic, and then when he, blows his load, it gets all sad and depressed as he looks at his hands in horror, and the post-nut clarity hits. He just does such a good job of miming it. He sends it so hard, and that's what makes it so funny. Like, I was laughing the entire time. Because, like, once again, it's not even really a joke. He just sells it so hard. Yeah, it's amazing. There's one moment where he says, women are so stupid, right? Men are so much smarter than women. I mean, I was... And then he says, I put on my condom before me and my girlfriend were about to have sex. She said, why are you wearing a condom if I'm fucking you with a strap on? To be safe, bitch! It's great. Once again, I have so many amazing quotes from this special. He does a bunch of poems at one point, and I have one of them quoted. Something that no one's ever said before. My life's about three things: getting money, getting pussy, and the Dewey Decimal System. And yeah, those are all the things I took note of, aside from the songs, which we're going to get to. But I just need to emphasize that, the songs are the things you replay over and over again, and the jokes still hit each time because Bo's just good at what he does. But the actual bits in between the songs, although extremely disparate, there is not really a connecting line. They are very brief gags. Nothing goes on for very long. It is constantly changing course. But I think that definitely lends it a certain, vibe to it. It is the vibe of what? Because the special is literally called What? It's supposed to be kind of hard to wrap your head around, in the sense of, not even necessarily in that it's so deep that you have to think about it for so long, but just in the sense of, like, it's so all over the place that you're just like, what? Alright, we're in the car now, don't worry about it. So now we're going to go into Bo Burnham's songs, which are definitely the things in this special that attract the most attention, right? The first one, I actually don't know what it's called. But it's just the opening song of the special, mostly played with, played over the intercom loudspeaker things up top, and he's just going along with it. It's good for an opening gag, and for, setting the tone that, hey, we're doing, like, high-tech shit up in here. But it's definitely not one of the hood classic bangers like Sad. It is... I'm not even sure if that's really what it's called, but I think it's called that. And it's great because, first of all, every joke in it is a banger. So, like, picture a depressed picture a depressed onion cutting itself. That phrase will never leave my head. I've listened to this a bunch of times. I saw a giraffe with a short neck. That is sad. Or a deer. Shit like that. Some other ones. I saw a homeless man named Rich. Fucking great. There's a lot of good stuff in this song. But the message of the song, as well as the twist, and I think this is just so funny. This is probably the funniest of the songs, where at the end, it turns into this, pseudo. Okay, it pretends to get serious for a time before just going right back into insane, hilarious hijinks, where it becomes, a bit more serious of like, oh, but the world, it's sad, but all of you people watching, you're laughing, you're having fun. And I'm just mentioning all these sad things. How are you doing it? Well, he's doing it through comedy. And, there's that amazing bit where he crosses his eyes and said, comedy isn't being insensitive and playing to the lowest common denominator, most animalistic impulses of the public. It's being a hero. And then, he starts becoming a sociopath, essentially. That's the twist of the song, where he just laughs at pain and misery. The Holocaust and 9/11, that shit's funny 24/7. And I really like this, because first of all, it's a hilarious twist of the song. I was dying. But also, it is, nonetheless, a very serious message of, the reason why we make edgy jokes is to collectively cope with the fact that horrible things happen. And even though Bo Burnham is poking fun at the fact of like, oh, well, us in America don't have to deal with all this horrible shit for the most part, but, we still feel the need to cope for some reason. But the actual answer to that is that the fact that bad things happen at all affects everyone. The fact that a war is happening right now at all is making the world a worse place for everyone in it, especially for people locally, but still, to a minor degree, for everyone worldwide, of having to know that the world they currently inhabit is such a horrible place that war is allowed to happen. And for that, being able to make jokes about edgy subjects can be a way of coping, even if, once again, we're not the ones directly affected by it, which is funny to point out. So, that's sad. Not every song has, like, a deeper meaning to it. It's just most of them. Like, #deep. I've thought about it real hard while listening to it. I don't think there's, like, and, funnily enough, I think that's, like, the shallowest song in the lineup, which is probably the point, admittedly. That's probably part of the message. It's literally just, hey, 14-year-olds who think they're deep. That's pretty funny. And it is pretty funny, to be fair. The meat cleaver line is great. The tons of good stuff in that song. I'm spending a long time on this rant, so I better hurry it the fuck up. So Left Brain, Right Brain. Left Brain, Right Brain is a very interesting song to think about, in the sense that this entire special is sort of like Bo Burnham's jokey way of saying, I want to fucking kill myself. He said, there's the one gag where he puts on the party music and is like, hey, yo, what's up? I'm famous, what did I do last night? And I genuinely thought, like, oh, okay, the joke is that he's famous and he got so fucked up on drugs and alcohol that he doesn't remember what he did last night, and so he's just gonna keep on saying, what did I do last night? Yo! What did I do last night? I don't remember. But what actually happened was I cried myself to sleep. And that's the end of that. Just abruptly cuts off. And admittedly, I thought my idea for it was actually a bit funnier. But you know what? Crying yourself to sleep, I see where you were going with that. I see the vision. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But it also lends to the idea that this... it literally starts with the intercom, just insulting the fuck out of Bo Burnham. And the idea is that is, his default state, and that he is escaping that in order to do this comedy special. Like, it is so thinly veiled, the fact that Bo Burnham, in this special, wants to fucking kill himself. Maybe not literally kill himself, but is not in a great place. And Left Brain, Right Brain is the most direct way of tackling that, I think. Where the idea is that this computer is splitting the two halves of his brain. You've got left brain, cold, analytical, emotionless, and you've got right brain. He's emotional, artistic, and a fucking idiot. And we get to see the discourse between these two sides. And the idea behind the song is that these two sides of him are at war as of current. They are fighting each other. And the computer is splitting these two halves of him and allowing them to settle their differences and both get on the same page of doing comedy. And the outright goal of the song is to make Bo happy. That is the point. And I think that is very interesting to think about, of how he needs to reconcile these two voices inside of him of, being cold and analytical while also being a complete spaz, and how one of them, is like, hey, like, get back to work, and the other half is like, eat Oreos. That's one of the examples he gives. Just eat Oreos and shit and lay on the couch. There's another one, or another song. Of course there's another song. There's a bunch of other songs. There's another one called From God's Perspective. This is one that Neon actually brought up in our Ava cast. Also another, I thought of making both of these my fucking bio on Discord, or my status. One of them is, if Jesus can walk on, or no, this one was actually from #deep, never mind. If Jesus can walk on water, can he swim on land? That's fucking amazing. But the one from Jesus, you're not my children, you're a bad game of sim. I also love how he introduces the song of saying, I think sometimes people get the wrong idea from my stand-up. They think, I believe I know everything, and that I'm egotistical. Anyway, here's a song called From the Perspective of God. Or, From God's Perspective, yeah. But, there's another line I quoted. Ever entertain the thought that God doesn't believe in you. But the idea behind this song is that, basically, it's... By the way, I want to preface this. I'm making this rant for a religious man. I am making this rant for a Christian. Anyway, the message of this song is that people use religion as a way to cope with how horrible their life is and how much they hate themselves, and that by having this larger mission to believe in God, it can make them feel more comfortable about the state of the world, the idea that everything happens for a reason, and is then, you can justify why war and rape and murder happen if you have this larger conception that God knows everything, that everything happens for a reason, that however horrible things are, nonetheless, these are earthly trials and tribulations that you must overcome in order to get into heaven. It is a very comforting thought, but the specific angle that Bo takes this from is the idea that you are using God's love as a substitute for self-love, that God loves me, and being content with that fact instead of realizing that, hey, you need to believe in yourself. And one of the lines that I think hits pretty much the hardest in any of the songs is like, God's love is the type of love you've got to earn, and once you earn it, you won't need it. And that is really, really impactful. And I can see how, even though I read it as a very atheistic song, in a sense, I can also see how, as a Christian man, as Neon is, he would appreciate that final line in particular of like, hey, you can't just do nothing. You can't just let God's love be the only thing keeping you forward. You need to reshape your life on your own, and that's, you gotta do that. You can't just do nothing and get into heaven, although that's for a Christian man to discuss and not me. Because I'm not going to heaven, I'm going straight down to hell if the Bible is true. Lord, I hope the Bible isn't right, because I'm fucked if it is. Anyway, let's see, what other songs are there? There's the song about love songs about Justin Bieber and shit like that. And basically it's the idea of, oh yeah, love songs are just meant to be about some girl, some vague idea of a girl. You know, I love how she has arms attached to both sides of her torso. I love her eyes, which are a bluish, greenish, brownish color. Something like that. You know, I don't know all of these songs by heart, but I've got the gist of them in my head. The gist of what they communicated. And I love the bit where, you know, as he tells the audience, like, okay, like he motions to them to sing the chorus, which is just repeat stuff, repeat stuff, repeat stuff, repeat stuff, repeat stuff, repeat stuff. And as they sing the chorus, because of course you can do it on the first try. He starts making the Sieg Heil gesture to them, and they all burst out laughing. And then it comes back around at the very end of the song, where while he says repeat stuff, repeats Satan 666 Illuminati, all that sort of stuff. It's lovely. So unless I am missing any other songs, I am looking. I don't think I am, so I can go into the final song. Dearly hope I didn't miss anything. Anyway, the final song is, I don't actually know what it's called, but it's basically, you know, he tries to wrap up the show, but then he gets interrupted by this guy who's like, this guy who's like, oh, hey, Bo, I knew you in college, not really, you know, but the best thing about our relationship is that we didn't really talk, and there's this other guy who's like, yeah, Bo, I mean, I love your music, great stuff, great comedy, but, it's not marketable. We've got to change it, you know? And there's all these people who come in, and Bo essentially, okay, the song overall is about being treated differently by being famous, right? Because he's famous, people have this idea of him in their heads. They want things from him all of a sudden. They think they know him. And that comes around when he uses the different sound bites to say, we think we know you. We think we know you. And there's this one guy who just says the F slur in the background. He says it over and over again. He just keeps on playing that. Based. There's also the part in Left Brain, Right Brain where the computer just says the N-word. Beautiful. I just got a notification on my phone. Fuck off. But yeah. And the point of the song is basically he uses these sound bites. You know, he uses the ways in which these people misunderstand him and the frustration it causes him in order to progress his art. He literally turns their voices into a song. He plays instruments over them. And he's miming the entire thing, by the way. Like, he is going ham. I want to emphasize this, that Bo, he's so good at, like, you know, getting the right voice for each joke, about getting the right body language for everything, about just being expressive. So expressive. It is great. It is so good to watch him on stage, like, you know, stuff like trying to read out of the book, but, you know, he has everything memorized, so he just puts it on his head, then he flips the page and puts it on his head again, you know, as if he's about to continue, but then just doesn't look at it. It's so good. And so, yeah, the final song, you know, he's playing over the haters, essentially. He's turning this noise into art. And, like, yeah, there's one part where the we think we know you is, like, so covered up by the instruments that you can barely hear it at all. And I thought that was a really powerful moment. A very powerful, auditory image. And that's really a microcosm for what Bo is doing with this special, this idea of turning all the horrible depression and, you know, wanting to lie in bed all day into something artistic and something meaningful and funny. And I think that's what people really appreciate about Bo. How, you know, however silly and irreverent most of the songs are, there is a point where they get serious, and where you realize he has a point here. You know, even the sillier ones like the love song one, repeat stuff, it is still a point about music. It's not necessarily the most serious thing in the world, but it is still impactful, and it still has a point, and I like that about it. I like it when they get serious, but I also like them when they're being funny. So overall, What by Bo Burnham is basically the only stand-up special I've seen in full, I'm fairly certain, and so by default that makes it a 10 out of 10 because I liked it. That's about it. See ya.